All right, good morning. It is Tuesday, September 2nd, and I figured I would do the intro out here because it's the first day in quite a long time where walking outside for 30 seconds doesn't cause me to have to take a shower the second I walk back inside. It's in the low 70s right now, which for South Georgia is incredibly nice. But anyway, today is Games Workshop ordering day, so I have to submit the order of all the new stuff. The new stuff this week is the Imperial Knight Codex, and incendiary things. Then the Imperial Fist dice, combat patrol, and character, as well as the Raven Guard dice, combat patrol, and character. It's a little weird to me that there's no supplement for either the Raven Guard or the Imperial Fists. I talked about this a little bit in our group chat, the club's group chat. I don't know if they're coming later or maybe they aren't getting one. I'm not really sure. We know the Salamanders are getting one. We've seen I can't remember if that was a leak or a preview, but we've seen the rules for it. So I would assume that the other chapters were getting one as well, but who knows? Maybe not. In any event, I have to submit that order, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might honestly set up a paint table outside and do some painting out here, because again, it's so nice. But we'll see. Definitely going to be some painting today, though. And, oh yeah, and then later this week, I've got 3 of my episodes already planned out. Saturday, no wait, is that this week? That's next week. That's not this week. Never mind. I have 3 episodes for next week planned out. Next week, I'm going to a tournament. I'm taking my Imperial Agents, expecting to go 0-3, hoping to go 1-2. But so I'll do a recap of that. Then the episode before that, I'm going to talk through my list. I think I'm going to start doing that for events that I go to. Just talk through my list. Talk about the choices that I've made and why I made them. If there's any actual reasoning behind it other than these models look cool. And then before that, I'm going to make a video of tips about going to a tournament. And hopefully they're going to be not just like, tips that anybody could come up with, but really kind of drill down into the experience of a tournament and what you want to get out of a tournament and some tips and tricks to help you achieve that. But that's next week. I thought that was the end of this week. That's next week. So who knows? This week there'll be stuff, but I'm not exactly sure what. So yeah, no idea where you'll see me next. Maybe at the paint table, maybe somewhere else, maybe outside. So the first thing I'm going to do today is to cut out some templates with which I will then trace all the templates or all the footprints for the 40K terrain onto my transparent sheets once they come in. So I've just torn some paper out of my sketchbook here because it's a little bit thicker than regular printer paper, so they'll hold up a little bit longer when I'm making the templates. I need 4 6x4s, 2 10x5s, and 6 12x6s. And, I've just realized I don't need to make a template. I don't need to make 4 templates. I can just make 1 template. I tore too much paper out of my thing here. I'm only going to need 2 sheets. Yeah, didn't really think about that until just this second. I will obviously need that many per table, but I don't need to cut them out of this. I need to cut them out of the transparent sheet once it arrives. Okay, well, you live and you learn. So this paper, realistically, yeah, I can get 10 inches out of this. So I will do a 12x6 here, and then a 6x4 here, and then I'll cut the 10x5 out of it here. So I'm just going to pick a arbitrary point here and draw myself a nice 10-inch line. This doesn't have to be super perfect, if I'm honest. Maybe the hardcore 40K players would disagree. But, if this is off by even a whole centimeter, to be honest, in any direction, I'm not going to worry about it. All right. Let me draw in a 4-inch line, or a 4-inch dot here. I think I've mentioned this before, but I personally feel like this standardization is the word in the English language, uh, of the 40k terrain is incredibly boring, and I think makes the game worse in every way. I've played 40k now for 20 some years. We got along just fine without these standardizations back in the day. And on top of that, we got along just fine without balance patches every however long it is now, every 3 months or whatever. I think the overall trend of simplifying the game in order to appease the competitive gamers has made the game objectively worse. And yeah, I don't think there's anything that can change my mind on that. I think that's also, even if you enjoy this direction they've taken, I think even the people who enjoy it would agree that that is the direction it has gone in. The game is not being updated in the spirit of the rule of cool. It is being updated to be chess. As balanced as possible, as simple as possible, so that the competitive players can thrive. And I think that has made the game, as I said, overall worse. But there are many hundreds of thousands, dare I say millions of people who disagree with me, and the game is obviously thriving. No argument from me there. So yeah, I think those of us who don't enjoy it will just have to suck it up. And you might ask, which is a perfectly valid question, why on earth are you hosting a tournament if you don't like the game? And the simple answer to that is that everyone else or many people in my area do like the game. And so I would rather host an event that people will want to attend rather than not host an event just because I don't like the system. Alright. That should be about right. I'll cut these out, and then I'll just have my 10x5 left. Like I said, these don't have to be anywhere near perfect. If anybody wants to get their protractor out and tell me that my footprints are a couple degrees off center or are not the correct amount of square footage or whatever, honestly, I'll just give them a refund and they can leave the event. I'm really not worried about it. I originally, when I was going to run this event, I was going to do a little bit more narrative-focused event, but several people pushed to have just a standard from-the-book tournament, so that is what we are doing. And as much as I would like to run the club as a dictatorship, I think that quickly becomes how to have a club of one. And so for the good of, not having a club of one, I suppose two, I think my wife would probably stick with me. Even if I was a dictator. It's probably not good for the overall longevity of the club. The other thing I have to do here is figure out on some of their templates, I'll throw a picture up here, not all of this template is line of sight blocking. Some of it is, I guess, shorter than 4 inches, which means vehicles can move through it, I think. So I have to figure that out as well. But that'll be, once I get the transparent sheets, I may just put some diagonal Sharpie lines on those areas and go from there. Alright, so then I just need one more sheet, and I gotta make my 10x5. This is a 12 by 6, right? Yes, okay. Yep, I gotta make my 10 by 5. I guess I may as well make it on the edge here so I can save as much paper as possible. But yeah, I think, going back to my negativity rant, I think a lot of people forget that people don't complain about things that they aren't interested in. I mean, maybe some people do. I think those people live a sad life. If you're not interested, just don't engage with the thing. I'm still hopeful that the game will change. I'm very hopeful for 11th edition that we will get something more in the direction of fun and interesting and highly customizable. If not, then I'll have to reevaluate my position. I have stuck it out through 9th. I actually really enjoyed the beginning of 9th and just burned out on it really quickly. I think because of the lack of customization. Stuck it out through 10th. If 11th is more of the same, I don't know. We'll see. We'll go from there. But I am hopeful that they will make some changes and might be able to figure out a way to have a highly competitive, balanced game while also not taking out all of our customization options. Like the 40k rules team, their job is to write the rules for 40k. I feel like with 40 hours a week, 52 weeks in a year, they could figure this out. Unfortunately, it may be just that they have no interest in figuring it out, and they are happy with where the game is, which totally fair. Then that game just may not be for me anymore. All right. So there are my templates. Once the transparency sheets come in, I will trace a bunch of these, or trace these onto a bunch of those, and we'll have 8 sets of nice, standard, how are we fighting in the same city all the time, terrain footprints. All right, well, I'm back at the table once again. Spent a little bit of my hobby time just doing some more cleaning in the garage, which, as I previously mentioned, not very exciting to film. Maybe I'll throw a time lapse up every now and again of me cleaning, but it is just me picking up stuff and organizing it. So, not the most interesting. The shelf cleaning off, I thought was a little more interesting. At least you got to see the shelf slowly get more and more clean. But over where the catastrophe happened the other day, it started as a mess. It's still a mess. We're working our way through it. But I thought I would just go through this box, or this bag of Deathwatch stuff I got, and just talk a little bit more about the program I got them through. So a member of our club started this thing. I mentioned it briefly in a previous episode, but it's called the Gain Box. And like I said, it's a reference to something. I don't remember exactly what, though. I think it's something to do with Dune. I'm not a huge Dune fan, so I'm not 100% sure. But basically, it is take a penny, leave a penny, but for miniatures. So you see something you like, you can take it out with the understanding that either then or at some point in the near future, you'll put something in. Or you can do the reverse, put something in, knowing that eventually there'll be something cool that pops up and you can take it. It's been a great program so far. What we have also been doing is basically every tournament, so every month, the game box resets. Anything that's left in the game box after a month will be sold, and the proceeds will go towards the club, either getting new terrain or battle mats or whatever the club might need at any given time. So yeah, it's been an excellent program, excellent idea that he had. I'm always down for programs that I don't have to think about. They just happen in the background. So that sounds good to me. And I got some cool Death Watch out of it. I'm gonna put some Eldar in. Oh no, I'm gonna put some Eldar in for these guys, and yeah, and then we'll just keep it going. So I don't know exactly what I'm looking at here. I understand these guys. They've got shields and they've got bolters. Get that. These guys are frag cannons. This guy's a Terminator. I recognize Terminators. And this is the Watchmaster. But I don't know exactly what these guys are. Obviously, they're holding shields, but these guns look different. I don't know if these are meant to be combi bolters or I don't know. I mean, they sort of. I don't know what they are. Grenade launchers, maybe. It's weird. They've got like this bit, like you can see behind this bit. There's still like the muzzle brake on the regular bolter. So I'm not sure what these guns are meant to be. Unfortunately, it may be that the option that these are no longer exists in the rules, and so they may just count as bolters these days. I haven't really looked too much in detail at the Deathwatch rules, other than the one squad you can take in Imperial Agents. So I'll have to take a look and figure out exactly what I've got. But worst case scenario, I can break these arms off and glue new ones on. All right, well, that will do it for this evening. Mostly just a day of ranting about 40k, but at least the weather was nice outside, so that's a bonus. Not sure what I'm doing tomorrow, but if you enjoyed the video, I would encourage you to click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more episodes, and I will see you tomorrow.